Okay, we have to talk about RFK Jr. Last time I discussed him on the channel, a bunch of third-party voting gremlins crawled out of the woodwork in their mom's basement to jump to his defense. And now with him announcing his new VP pick in Nicole Shanahan, I thought what better time to touch on some of the things that I was speaking to in that video. But first, let's catch up and speak on the VP pick. And Jessica Tarlov also jumped in with her opinion. So let's start there and then we will jump in fully.
RFK Jr. isn't even running as a Democrat anymore. He's fully representing another party. He has views and policies that are divergent from what Democrats are supportive of. And he's now going to be obviously heavily funded. And we should note that Nicole Shanahan was the person who paid for the Super Bowl ad that the Kennedys flipped out about. But he's also funded by Timothy Mellon, who's a mega donor who also gives to Trump. So 20 million went to RFK Jr., 15 million to Trump. And Steve Bannon encouraged RFK Jr. to run, saying he'd be a useful chaos agent. If Steve Bannon is into you, you are not good for Democrats. And of course, the Democrats are going to stand up and do something about it.
Now, Nicole Shanahan was pretty unknown prior. She did, however, fund the RFK Super Bowl commercial, as they mentioned. So she's rather wealthy, and that might have had a little bit to do with her pick. She was a wife to the Google co-founder. She's an attorney in Silicon Valley for patents, I believe, and has long been a Democratic donor. She's supported Democratic crime reform, Democratic AGs, and even Biden in 2020. So she is at least optically and probably also politically to the left of RFK, which only favors Trump, as this probably swings RFK back into stealing more Dems than Republicans, or at least swings him from as many Republicans as he would have stole. And it also keeps his campaign well funded for the long haul, as she'll clearly have additional millions she can throw into the administration.
There has been quite a significant Biden bounce since the State of the Union. So today that he got to North Carolina, he has visited every single battleground state. And there were new swing state polls out this morning from Bloomberg and Morning Consult that showed him gaining in 6 of 7 of the swing states. The only state where Trump is gaining is in Georgia.
But he's still losing in all the battlegrounds.
Well, Okay, actually, no, he's not losing in Pennsylvania.
And this just goes to show the minuscule effect that RFK has had in this race. Despite having his own State of the Union, announcing his VP, ramping up his efforts, Biden's still surging in the states on the map that he needs to be doing so, showing that RFK may not be the Democratic spoiler that we were worried about, that he's hoping for, that he needs to have any bit of a realistic chance, especially when he's largely been exposed for his multitude of dangerous ideas, dangerous rhetoric, and dangerous positions, most of which are equally as stupid. I'm just being honest. To start, he said COVID was ethnically targeted and that Jews and the Chinese were the most immune, kind of hinting that they might be behind it. He said this in a room full of COVID deniers and people who were indeed spreading lies about China manufacturing COVID. So platforming these kind of voices in the first place is extremely dangerous, but then playing in and giving some sort of validity to their delusions and then dog whistling the conclusions is another level. That's disqualifying, if you ask me. But RFK and his anti-vax group bolstered a Samoan anti-vax movement after the measles epidemic in 2019, using memes like falsely claiming the vaccine caused multiple deaths when it didn't. And that led to a decrease in vaccinations and thus made the epidemic even more devastating and added to the additional deaths. Again, wholly disqualifying, if you ask me. He spoke out against school vaccine mandates, said that he wouldn't require them and that parents should resist the CDC vaccine guidelines. Wholly disqualifying. He'll often quote 100 studies that link vaccines to autism. First off, if you're linking vaccines to autism, disqualifying. If you're saying water makes the frogs gay, disqualifying. But if you go to this list of 100 studies that he long wants to cite as, there's proof, it's not me saying it, they're long debunked studies. Some fraudulent, some by people who have been found to have taken money for studies, and none credible. There's not one credible study on the entire list. So for every decent idea he has, there's 3 terrible ones to go with it. We didn't even go into his Zionism. We didn't go into a lot of stuff. But if he didn't even have the last name, he would just be another crackpot polling 1%. But people instead see Kennedy, they see third party, and they fall for the aesthetic of some sort of political reset or revolution when RFK is really just a run-of-the-mill Republican of old. He kind of reminds me of Mitt Romney, honestly, with a lot less logic and reasoning ability. If you enjoyed this video, we're Social Society. We're a commentary channel influenced by politics, society, and the economy. We are pretty left-leaning on this channel, but we're open to our right-wingers as well. The biggest thing here is having conversations that get everyone to the bottom of the truth. If that sounds like something that could interest you, consider smashing that subscribe button, leaving us a like, or even commenting on this video. We even have memberships available as low as $3 if you'd like to support, because the only way we become a society is together.